But when you have standards and you say, okay, this is what I expect, this is where the bar is, you're telling yourself, I'm not about to willingly subject myself to anything under this. Hey girl, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Trinity. If you're new here, today we're going to be discussing something that I'm so excited to talk about, because I feel like this is something that I've mastered within the last maybe 2 to 3 years, and that is how to be unbothered. This was actually a really highly requested topic, so I formulated a list of all the things that I feel like helped me to become unbothered, and these things actually can apply to pretty much any situation, any scenario. So just keep on watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you like content about personal development, self-development, becoming your best self, all that good stuff. Okay, so first off, let's talk about what it means to be unbothered. I think when a lot of people hear that word, they think it means you're emotionless, you don't really care about anything, nothing phases you at all, and I don't believe that's even possible. It's impossible to be unfazed by everything in life. It's impossible to not have emotions, to not have feelings. You're going to feel things. You can't get around that. But in my opinion, being unbothered is not allowing things to consume you. So like I said, this applies to so many different things. You might be going through a breakup right now and you're just so bothered by what your ex is doing, who he's dating, who he's hanging around. Every little thing he does makes you feel some type of way. You might be bothered in your friendships, like you get upset when your friends hang out without you. You feel like no one's really your friend, like you're such a needy, high maintenance friend. You might be bothered by family members. Maybe you just feel like everyone's out to get you, or no one really likes you, no one has your best interest at heart. No matter what you're going through right now, know that it's okay to feel what you feel, but you have to figure out how to not let it consume you. You have to figure out how to not let it control you. I used to let so many little things, so many trivial things bother me so bad. Like they would bother me to the point where I could not get anything done. I was so emotional about all this stuff. So I'm gonna be sharing with y'all the 5 things that I feel like have really helped me tremendously to be the person I am today. I really feel like I'm a very unbothered person, honestly. There's not much someone can say to me that will really bother me to the point where like my feelings are hurt, I'm really sad. Like even when people comment on my videos every now and then and say dumb stuff, I think about it for like a second and then I'm like, yeah, whatever, on to the next thing. I don't dwell on things for a really long time. And hopefully by the end of this video, you have the tools to be the exact same way. My first tip is to stop trying to be for everybody. One thing I've noticed about a lot of people who are very easily bothered or just bothered all the time, they all seem to be people pleasers. Like they want to please everyone. They want everyone to like them. They want everyone to be happy with them at all times. And you cannot control people. Like, that's just what it is. No matter what you do, no matter how you act, no matter how you dress, no matter how you carry yourself, you will not be everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. You just have to learn how to accept that. And that might be a harsh reality for you to face. Like no one wants to accept the fact that they're a people pleaser, but 9 times out of 10, if you're constantly worried about trying to alter people's opinion about you, you're probably a people pleaser. Because the reality is only people pleasers care about being liked by everyone. And I know this because I used to be a people pleaser. I used to wear what I thought everyone else would like. I used to carry myself in a way that everyone else felt like I should carry myself. I used to speak in a way I thought would be appealing to other people. I used to try to show up as the girl who every guy wanted. Like I would do the things that I felt like guys wanted me to do, or act the way I felt like they wanted me to act. I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. I was telling them that I feel like I have learned how to be selective over the last few years. And not only have I learned how to be selective, I've learned that I can actually be selective. Like I don't have to take everything that's thrown my way, especially in dating. Like there was a point where I would date who wanted to date me, but now I have an idea in mind of who I want to date. Well, not now, I'm in a relationship now, but that's besides the point. When I was single, like if, let's just say I was to date right now, I have an idea in my mind of what I want, what I expect, what I like, and I can be selective too. I don't have to take everything that comes my way just because someone likes me or just because someone's interested in me. I can have my picks too. And because I know I can have my picks and I can have my way and I have the right to choose just like a man does, I don't feel the need to be for everyone. I don't mind being rejected. I don't mind someone not wanting me. I don't mind someone not liking me. And this is not even just in dating. This is just in life, period. I'm okay with not being everyone's cup of tea. That's perfectly fine with me. I am not for everyone. Everyone is at a different point in their journey through life. And honestly, people like what they like or accept what they accept or choose what they choose because of where they are in life. And I mean, people just like what they like. That's okay. Everyone doesn't have to like your outfit. Everyone doesn't have to like your hair. Everyone doesn't have to think you're pretty. Everyone doesn't have to think you're the best makeup artist, the best hairstylist, the best lash tech. You don't have to be the best in everyone's eyes. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, even if you are the best in everyone's eyes, what are you getting out of that? Like, do you get a prize, a gold medal for being the best? When you realize that you really don't get much just off the strength of people liking you, you stop caring so much about what everyone thinks about you. Then I also had to get to a point where I realized, like, I mean, they like me today, but tomorrow they might not like what I have on. They might not like how I'm acting. They might not like me. People change their minds all the time, and they change their minds for different reasons, different things. So you can't be so caught up on how people feel about you. And if your confidence only comes from what someone else has said about you or someone else liking you, all the praises that they've given you, all the accolades that they've given you, that is not sustainable. That's not true confidence. True confidence is how you feel about yourself. My second piece of advice is to have standards. You have to have a take it or leave it kind of attitude when going through life. So I already spoke about how years ago I used to date in a way where I was kind of just taking whatever I could get, and I wasn't really selective. Like, I didn't feel like I could choose a partner. I didn't have an idea in mind of what I wanted. I didn't have any non-negotiables. I didn't have any standards, honestly, and I hate to say it, but what I thought were standards were actually preferences because I was wavering on them. I didn't stand 10 toes on what I said I needed out of a partner. And when you don't have standards, you kind of take a little bit of any and everything. And I talk about this a lot on my channel, but I don't think I've ever said this part. In order to have standards, you have to have already decided that you are worth a certain thing or that you are worthy of a certain thing. The only reason why we waver on our standards is because we don't really feel like we're worthy of whatever that thing is, or we feel like we can't have it. Once you make up in your mind that you are worthy of a certain thing, a certain type of relationship, a certain type of man, a certain whatever, once you make up in your mind that you can have that thing that you want, you don't accept anything other than that. I used to be so scared to say what I expected out of people. And this is not even just in like romantic relationships. This is in like family, friendships. I was so scared to stand on what I wanted once I realized what I wanted, because not knowing is a whole different thing. But I was scared because I didn't want to lose people. And this goes back to my first point of trying to be for everybody, trying to please everybody, being a people pleaser, not having any boundaries. But once I really made up in my mind that I want this, I want to live like this, I want to have this, I made those things standards, and I became okay with people possibly leaving or not wanting to be around me or not wanting to be with me because of those things. And yes, it does suck when people walk away from you because you decide to stand on something, but it's also very, very empowering. Like, it makes you feel like you can stand alone. You can stand on your own too. And there's also an empowering feeling that comes with knowing that you're kind of like weaning people out. When you have standards, you're kind of avoiding a lot of low vibrational experiences. When you decide that you want a certain type of man, like when you have criteria for the type of men that you date and you stand on that criteria, you avoid going through a whole lot of stuff that you would have gone through with those men who did not fit that criteria. You already got to go through stuff, period, even when you know what you want and stand on it. But you don't do anything but waste more time, unnecessary time, when you're just taking anything, especially if it's stuff that you already said you didn't want. I'm a firm believer in the fact that certain things should be beneath you. And it's funny because I actually mentioned this in another video, and when I posted it on shorts, people were like coming for me in the comments like, no, you shouldn't feel like you're above anyone or above any situation. Y'all weren't getting what I was saying, and that's fine with me. Like I said, I don't go back and forth with people in the comments. So if you ain't get it, then you just ain't get it. But the girls that get it, get it. Yes, anything can happen to anyone, but having standards is simply not willingly subjecting yourself to certain experiences. Anyone can get cheated on, anyone can get dragged on, anybody can go broke at any moment. But when you have standards and you say, okay, this is what I expect, this is where the bar is, you're telling yourself, I'm not about to willingly subject myself to anything under this. Like, you literally have to convince yourself that you deserve the best that someone has to offer. And when you convince yourself of that, it's easy to walk away from things that don't add up to what you said you wanted. So like I said, over the past maybe 2 to 3 years, I've learned how to have a take it or leave it attitude. This is what I want, this is what I expect, and if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to live up to this, then you're gonna have to go, because I've already decided that that's what I want for myself. Like I said, it hurts when somebody doesn't want to live up to that expectation, but it's better for them to wean themselves out and get on up out of there, as opposed to them sitting around, staying around, and making you miserable because they can't do what you want them to do or treat you the way you want to be treated. My next piece of advice is probably going to be the most helpful piece of advice in this video. Stop taking everything personally. You will feel so much better about yourself and life when you realize that people's actions have more to do with themselves than with you. I used to hear that all the time, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to sit and try to think of scenarios where that was not the case, and I have not been able to come up with one. Because no matter how you flip it, no matter how you reverse it, you cannot control anyone. You can't make anyone do anything. You can't make anyone act a certain way. You can't make someone like something that they don't like. You cannot control people, even if it's a result of something you did or said to them or whatever. They control themselves. They decide what action they want to take based off of what has happened in their life or in the situation. And people react to things based off of where they are in life or what has happened to them in their past. You yourself cannot change anyone's mind. You can't change anyone's taste. And this piece of advice applies to so many different things. One good example is, let's say you have on an outfit. If someone comes up to you and they say, "Oh, I love your outfit. Where'd you get it? You look so cute," whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean that your outfit is cute. It means that that person likes your outfit. Just like if that person came up to you and said, "I don't like your outfit. Why did you wear that?" That doesn't necessarily mean that your outfit is not cute. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that you look a mess. It just means that that person does not like it. Their opinion is based off of their taste and what they like. It really has nothing to do with you. So you can't go home crying about the fact that that person said that they didn't like your outfit. You can't go home crying about somebody saying they don't like your hair or somebody saying that you're not pretty. People have their own beauty standards. I know there's someone in the world who doesn't think that I'm the most attractive thing, and I'm fine with that, because everything is subjective. It's based off of what they like, what they have trained their minds to think is beautiful or attractive. So I had to realize that I could not control people and their minds and what they like and what their taste is. I can't control that. And baby, the same goes for these men, child. You definitely can't take anything they do personal. Just like the whole outfit scenario. If a man does not choose you, it's not because you're not worth being chosen. It's because he does not want to choose you. If a man is not being faithful to you, it's not because you're not worthy of a faithful man. It's because he does not want to be faithful to you. He did not make up in his mind that he was going to be committed to you. You cannot keep a man who does not want to be kept. Point blank period. Like, you can have the biggest butt in the world, you can have the biggest boobs in the world, you can cook every single day, you can clean every single day, you can have sex with him every single day, but if that man does not want to be kept, ain't nothing you can do. If he does not choose to be committed to you, there's nothing you can do. So you can't take that type of stuff personal. You also can't take other people's opinions on the internet personal. Like I said, I do not go toe-to-toe in comments. You can comment and say whatever you want about me or about my video, about whatever I said, and I'm either not going to respond or I'm going to tell you to shut up. I've said shut up girl to plenty of people on YouTube because I just don't care. Like, I don't care to go back and forth with people. I said what I said and I stand on that. I don't care to go back and forth with people who I don't even know. I don't care to go back and forth with people who don't know me. Like, people might think they know me because they follow me on social media or they watch my videos, but y'all really don't know me. So there's nothing you can say that can really hurt my feelings. And honestly, I don't care what people think about me. I don't care how people perceive me. I don't care about people's opinions of me, because I care a whole lot about who I actually am. I care about the real life stuff. I'm not worrying about showing up as someone you might like. So I don't get too caught up in how people feel about me. I don't take people's opinions of me too personal. My next piece of advice is to stop fighting change. You're so bothered because you're so busy holding on to what was that you can't accept what is. Life happens, people change, people grow apart, people fall off, people change their minds, people want different things, and that's okay. You have to learn how to let those things happen. You fighting it does not stop it from happening. I had to learn this in relationships. I had to learn this in friendships. My relationships with people, platonic relationships that is, have changed so much over the years. There are people who I used to be super duper close with who I'm not close with anymore. And it was really hard for me to accept that for a really long time. But I had to realize that things change, especially as we get older. Like when you're friends with people at a really, really young age and y'all grow up, you might grow to like different things. You might grow to be into different things. You might just grow apart. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's beef. It doesn't mean that y'all aren't friends, but you may not be able to be the same kind of friends that you once were. You may not be able to be super duper close to that person. You may not be able to hang out with them as much as you used to, and that is okay. I realized that it's easier for me to be happy with people when I accept where they are in life and when I accept where our relationship is or our friendship is. Because being mad at people does absolutely nothing. It doesn't do anything but stress you out and make you miserable, and it just adds more tension in that relationship. So when things change and people change, accept that and act and move accordingly. Like I said, if you were best friends with someone before and y'all just fell off for whatever reason, or y'all just are on two different paths in life, you don't have to cut that person off completely. You don't have to fall off from them completely. You don't have to shut them out of your life. Just accept that y'all are on two totally different paths. Y'all are in two different stages of life, and where you both are, it doesn't work for y'all to be like this anymore. Stop fighting change, because change happens as life goes on. Change happens as you grow. Change happens as you mature. Stop worrying so much about what used to be and focus on what is right now. Figure out what you can do with what you have right now. Figure out how you can move and how you can act and how you can live with this person based off of where you both are right now. And I use the example of friendships, but it applies to relationships too. Like if you're going through a breakup, you cannot sit and think about what the relationship used to be when it was good. You can't sit and think about that all day long, because that's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to do anything but make you miserable. It's going to make you sad. You're going to be reminiscing all the time. You have to focus on what is in that moment. Are y'all together now? No. Does that person act the same way towards you that they did during whatever time you keep reminiscing about? No. Focus on the present and figure out how to move based off of what the present looks like. And my last piece of advice is to have a life. You have to have your own life. You have to have your own stuff going on. When I think about the years when I was really bothered by everything, I realized that I didn't have my own stuff going on. I remember being in a relationship, getting cheated on, and literally stalking the girls my boyfriend cheated on me with. Like I used to really, there wasn't a tweet that I missed, okay, on some of these girls' Twitters, because I didn't have my own stuff going on. I was obsessed with what guys were doing when we stopped talking, and I was following their every move and trying to figure out who they were dating, who they were seeing, who they were in a relationship with. I was so obsessed with all that stuff because I did not have a life of my own. When you got your own stuff going on, when you're really focused on yourself and really focused on growing and maturing and just becoming a better version of yourself, you don't have time to sit around stalking somebody's social media all day long. You don't have time to be calling people from blocked numbers. You don't have time to be texting people from text-free numbers. You just don't have time. You have to be dedicated to your growth, dedicated to your personal development and your self-development. You have to be dedicated to those things, committed to those things, so that you don't spend so much time focusing on what's behind you. You're not going that way. When you concern yourself with someone's every move and all their whereabouts, literally everything they do will affect you. Everything they do will bother you. Stop focusing on it. Stop keeping up with people who are not keeping up with you. And even if they are keeping up with you, if keeping up with them does not benefit you in any type of way, stop keeping up with them. What they're doing does not concern you. Who they're dating does not concern you. Mind the business that pays you, sis, because that is not paying you, and clearly it wasn't doing you any good. Otherwise you would still be over there. You got to have your own thing going on. And when I even think about like when I was bothered in a relationship, I realized that I didn't have a life. I was so bothered whenever my boyfriend wanted to go out with his friends. I was so bothered whenever he wanted to spend time with anyone other than me. That man was the center of my life. But now, whenever my boyfriend says, oh yeah, we can't chill this weekend, or I got plans on Friday, I gotta do this on Saturday, if he can't spend his every waking second with me, I'm not upset because I have other stuff to do too. We gotta match our schedules up at this point, because he got a life and I got one too, and then we have one together. You have healthier relationships that way, and you're also just a happier person in general when your life does not revolve around someone else. You can't be bothered by what you're saying on social media. You wouldn't be so bothered by what everyone else is doing on social media if you were doing your own thing. Someone buying a house would not upset you if you were working towards buying your house. Them having it already would not upset you because you don't have it yet, because you know that it's coming, it's on the way, you're working towards it, it's in the works. And then also, I mean, we can have the conversation of not knowing what people really have going on in their lives. Like, everyone shows us their highlight reels on Instagram, as they should. Like, who should be on there highlighting their failures or their shortcomings? There are people who do it just to make other people feel better about themselves. There are people who do it just so that someone else going through can see that they're going through too, and they can trauma bond, because that's what it is. Like, I mean, I don't think it's bad for you to post your failures or whatever. If you want to do it for motivational purposes, cool. But at the end of the day, if someone needs you to post that you're going through something so that they can feel better about going through something themselves, that's trauma bonding. Misery loves company. They want to see that you're miserable too, so that they don't feel miserable about being miserable. So like I said, you gotta have your own life, you gotta have your own stuff going on, and then you won't be so bothered about what everyone else is doing, what everyone else has going on. As always, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you feel like you've mastered being unbothered and you have any tips that you want to share with the rest of our girls, feel free to comment that down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.